I want you to picture a scenario. It's one we've all been in. You are in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's high stakes, like a job interview or a meeting with the boss. Or maybe it's low stakes, just grabbing a coffee or chatting with a neighbor. And suddenly, your brain just
Oh, the dreaded freeze.
total paralysis.
Yeah.
And the frustrating thing is, it's not because you don't know the words. You know what coffee is. You know what a quarterly strategy is.
Right. You have the nouns.
Exactly. You have the nouns, you have the verbs,
Yeah.
but you don't have the glue. You don't have that simple little bridge to get you from one idea to the next. So you just stand there, buffering like a bad internet connection.
That is such a universal experience. It's the tip of the tongue phenomenon, but applied to entire sentence structures.
Yes.
We spend so much time obsessing over the complex bricks of language, the big SAT words, the technical jargon, and we completely neglect the mortar.
The connectors.
Exactly. We forget the simple connectors that actually hold a day's worth of communication together.
Which brings us to today's deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be honest with you. When I first looked at the source material for this, I was a little skeptical.
Really?
Yeah. We are looking at a script from the source, Speak English with Me, titled 50 Daily English Sentences You Must Use Every Day. And I opened the document and I thought, really? A list? That's it.
It does look deceptively simple on the surface, doesn't it?
It looks like a travel phrase book. But then I started reading the motivation section, and we started digging into the psychology behind why these specific 50 sentences were chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized there's a lot more going on here than just vocabulary.
Absolutely. If you treat this just as a list of words to memorize, you are missing the entire point.
Right.
We aren't analyzing a dictionary today. We are analyzing a script for a human life.
Oh, I like that.
The core argument the source makes, and this is the part that I think is really fascinating, is that fluency isn't about intellectual complexity. It's about automation.
Automation.
Yeah, think about driving a car. When you've been driving for years, you don't think, okay, foot on brake, hand on gear stick, check mirror.
You just drive.
You just drive. The mechanics are automated. True fluency is having these 50 core sentences hard-coded into your brain because honestly, they cover about 80% of the functional interactions you have in a day.
So the idea is, if I don't have to burn mental energy figuring out how to say I'm running late, my brain is free to focus on why I'm running late.
Precisely. You remove the friction from the basics so you can focus on the actual content of the conversation.
That connects to the aha moment I had reading the intro. The source says, fluent English is not about big vocabulary. It's about using simple sentences naturally and confidently.
Yes.
That hit me hard. We try so hard to sound smart that we forget to sound clear.
And that clarity is what we are going to break down today. The source organizes these sentences chronologically, which I love. It's like a screenplay for a typical 24-hour cycle.
A day in the life of a fluent speaker.
Exactly. So, let's open the script. Part 1, morning sentences.
Okay, so we start where everyone starts. Sentence number 1 is just a statement of fact. I just woke up. Fine. But sentence number 2. I feel like this is the most culturally universal sentence in the English language.
Let me guess. I need 5 more minutes.
I need 5 more minutes. I literally used that one this morning.
We all did.
Yeah.
But let's look at the function of that phrase. Why is it on a must-use list? It's not just a measurement of time.
Right.
If you're standing at a bus stop and say, I need 5 minutes, you're stating a fact. But when you say it from under a duvet,
You're negotiating?
you are negotiating with reality. You are asking for grace. It's a soft entry into the day. And what's interesting about the sources list is how quickly it pivots.
From the bed to the hustle.
Yeah, we go from that groggy, soft negotiation immediately into high-functioning logistics. Right after I need 5 more minutes, I'm getting ready, and what's the plan for today?
What's the plan for today? Feels like a throwaway line, but in a household, whether it's with a partner, kids, or roommates, that is actually a manager sentence, isn't it?
It's a heavy lifter. It sets the agenda. If you don't ask what's the plan, everyone is operating in silos.
Yeah, just doing their own thing.
You have 3 people in the same house existing on different timelines. Asking that question synchronizes the household. It prevents the chaos before it starts.
But then, inevitably, the synchronization fails because the next cluster of sentences in the source is just pure panic.
The slide into urgency.
We go from I'm getting ready straight to I'm running late and I'm in a hurry.
I want to pause on I'm running late for a second. There is a subtle difference between saying I am late and I am running late.
I am late sounds like a confession, like I failed.
Exactly. I am late is a static state. It feels like you've given up, but I'm running late. That is an active state.
It's a emotion.
It implies motion. It implies I am behind schedule, but I am hustling to catch up. It signals urgency and effort to the person waiting for you. It manages their expectations much better than just saying I'm late.
That's a really useful distinction. It's about how you frame your own actions. And then we get the launch sequence. Let's grab some breakfast. I'm on my way. See you soon.
If you look at this cluster from the snooze button to the front door, it's a narrative arc. You negotiate sleep, you coordinate the plan, you panic about time, and you execute the departure.
It's the whole morning right there.
If you master just these 10 sentences, you have successfully navigated the most stressful 2 hours of the day without stumbling.
And you haven't used a single complex word. It's all functional. Okay, so we've survived the morning commute. We are caffeinated, hopefully, and now we walk through the sliding glass doors. Part 2, work and study sentences.
The vibe shift here is immediate. We move from the intimacy of the morning to the accountability of the office.
Accountability is the perfect word for it. Because the very first phrase in this section is, I'll finish it today.
That is a power move.
Is it? See, when I read that, I felt a little anxiety. I'll finish it today puts a hard deadline on yourself. Isn't that risky?
It is risky if you can't deliver. But in a professional setting, ambiguity is the enemy. Think about it from a boss's perspective.
Okay.
If they ask, how's that report coming along? And you say, oh, it's going okay, or I'm doing it, that tells them nothing. They still have to worry about it.
So they have to keep checking in on you.
Exactly. But if you say, I'll finish it today, or the next one on the list, I'm working on it, you are signaling control. You are telling them, I own this task. You can take this off your mental to-do list. It relieves their anxiety.
So I'm working on it is basically a polite way of saying, get off my back, I've got this.
It is, but it's the professional way to say it. It protects your time and autonomy.
Right.
But there is one sentence in this work section that I think is the most important one for any learner, or honestly, any professional to master. And ironically, it's the one people are most terrified to use.
You're talking about sentence 14.
Yes. Can you explain that again?
Okay, I have to push back on this one. I hate saying this in meetings. If I'm in a boardroom and everyone is nodding and I say, can you explain that again? I feel like I'm admitting I'm the dumbest person in the room. It feels like a weakness.
I totally get that instinct. We are conditioned to hide our ignorance. But let's flip it. Who is the actual liability in that room? The person who pretends to understand and then goes off and does the work wrong. Or the person who stops the train to make sure the tracks are clear.
The person who messes up the work is definitely the liability.
Right. In a fluency framework, asking for clarification is actually a dominance move.
A dominance move.
It shows confidence. It says, I care more about getting this right than about looking perfect in the moment. When you look someone in the eye and say, can you explain that again? You are commanding the room. You are slowing the pace down to your level to ensure quality.
That is a really healthy reframe. Pretending to understand is the enemy of fluency.
It really is. And once you've established that clarity, the source gives us a toolkit for navigating the politics of agreement. We have the standard. That makes sense, and I totally agree. Easy enough. But then we have the diplomatic weapon.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure about that.
It's a soft disagreement.
It's vital. If you say you are wrong in a meeting, you have created a conflict. You've backed the other person into a corner. But if you say, I'm not sure about that, you have opened space for debate.
It sounds much less aggressive.
It allows the other person to save face. It implies that maybe you are the one missing something, even if you know you aren't. It keeps the communication channel open instead of shutting it down with an argument.
And if the channel gets too clogged, the source gives us the escape hatch. Let's discuss this later.
The ultimate meeting deferral tactic. Let's take this offline.
I love that this section ends on a high note, though. We get good job and keep it up.
Positive reinforcement. We often think of business English as cold transactions, invoices, deadlines, deliverables. But the source reminds us that building rapport is part of the work. Telling a colleague, good job, is just as functionally important as saying, I'll finish it today. It buys you social capital.
So we've done the morning rush, we've navigated the office politics, now the workday ends. Or maybe we're taking a lunch break and we move into the social space. Part 3, conversation sentences.
This is what I call social lubricant.
Social lubricant.
Well, think about it. These are the phrases that prevent the gears of conversation from grinding and seizing up. We start with the reconnection. How have you been? And long time no see. These are openers. They signal I am open to engagement.
But the real gold here for me is in the active listening phrases. That sounds interesting. And specifically, really, tell me more.
Tell me more is a superpower.
Why do you say that?
Because, and I mean this in the kindest way possible, human beings are narcissists. We love to talk about ourselves.
It's true. We're our own favorite subject.
If you are a language learner or just someone who is a bit shy or introverted, tell me more is your best friend. It takes the pressure off you to be interesting. You don't have to come up with a funny story or a brilliant insight. You just hand the microphone back to the other person.
You're giving them permission to keep going.
Exactly. You make them feel fascinating. And the funny thing is, they will leave the conversation thinking, wow, that person is a great conversationalist. And all you did was listen and say, really? Tell me more.
It's the verbal equivalent of nodding your head, but deeper. It keeps the ball in their court so you can catch your breath.
And looking at the rest of this section, we see a model for group dynamics. We have, what do you think? Asking for input. We have, that's a good idea, validating it. And finally, the decision maker. Let's try it.
Let's try it. It's action-oriented. It moves the group from talking to doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is where the list took a turn I wasn't expecting. We've done logistics, work, chat. But part 4 is feelings and emotions.
Yeah, this is where we drop the armor.
It feels a little vulnerable for a daily phrases list. Usually these lists are just asking for the bathroom or ordering food.
But that's why it's critical. You cannot be truly fluent if you can only discuss spreadsheets and bus schedules. You are a human being. You have an internal state. The source gives us the high energy stuff, like I'm so excited, but it also forces us to confront the lows. I'm a little nervous. I'm really tired.
I'm a little nervous. I feel like admitting that changes the energy in a room immediately.
It diffuses tension. There's this psychological concept called the pratfall effect. Basically, if you are competent, showing a little vulnerability actually makes people like you more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you are giving a presentation and your hands are shaking, trying to hide it makes it worse. Saying I'm a little nervous humanizes you. It makes the audience root for you.
And then we have the phrases meant for others, the support system. I'm proud of you. Don't worry. I believe in you.
When was the last time you said I believe in you to a friend? Or a partner?
Honestly, it's probably been a while. It sounds heavy. It sounds like something from a movie.
It feels heavy because we don't use it enough. It's 4 simple words, but it carries immense weight. The source is reminding us that language isn't just for exchanging information, it's for exchanging comfort. Look at number 38. Everything will be okay.
And stay positive.
These are almost stoic affirmations. In a crisis, or just a bad day, being the person who can look someone in the eye and say, don't worry, everything will be okay. That is a profound level of leadership and communication. It anchors the people around you.
It's interesting how these simple sentences are actually the most difficult ones to say sincerely. It's easy to say, pass the salt. It's hard to say, I believe in you.
That's the paradox of fluency. The simplest words often carry the most complex emotional baggage.
So we've gone through the emotional highs and lows. The sun is setting. We are entering the final stretch of the day. Part 5, nice sentences.
The exhale.
The first one is universal. What a long day.
Paired immediately with, I'm exhausted.
It's the closing ceremony of the professional self. You're signaling to your family or your roommates that the shop is closed. Let's relax.
Let's relax. But here is where the list does something really brilliant. It doesn't just end with good night. There are 2 sentences here, numbers 45 and 46, that I think elevate this entire document from a phrase book to a philosophy of life.
You're looking at, I learned something new today, and I'll do better tomorrow.
Yes. I'm so glad you flagged those.
I learned something new today. It sounds like something a school kid says at the dinner table.
But imagine if an adult actually said that every night. It forces a habit of reflection. It forces you to scan your day for value. Even if you had a terrible day, if you can identify one thing you learned, the day wasn't a waste.
It's a growth mindset embedded in daily speech.
And then I'll do better tomorrow. That is pure forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Think about it. We beat ourselves up over our days. I shouldn't have said that. I was awkward in that meeting. I didn't finish the report. I'll do better tomorrow acknowledges the failure, but draws a line under it. It resets the cycle.
It stops you from carrying the stress of today into the potential of tomorrow.
Exactly. It frames your existence not as a test you are failing, but as a continuous improvement project.
That is surprisingly profound for a list of 50 sentences. And then finally, we close the loop with gratitude and rest. Thank you for today. Good night. Sleep well. And the promise of the future. See you tomorrow.
And just like that, the 24-hour cycle is complete.
Mm.
We've navigated every major touch point of a human day, logistical, professional, social, emotional, and reflective, using only 50 sentences.
It really highlights how much of our lives runs on these scripts. But the source doesn't just want us to admire the list and move on. There's a speaking practice challenge attached to this.
Yes, the source is very explicit here. It says, pause the deep dive and try to create 5 new sentences using today's expressions.
That's the key, right? Active usage.
Mm,
Because reading isn't speaking.
correct. Passive listening, just hearing us talk about the list, isn't enough. The source emphasizes that repetition creates fluency. You have to treat these sentences like doing push-ups. You don't get strong by watching someone else go to the gym.
You have to do the reps.
You have to do the reps. The goal is to move these sentences from your conscious memory, where you have to search for them, to your procedural memory, where they just happen. Like, I need 5 more minutes.
I think I've got that one down perfectly. I'm an expert at that one.
I'm sure you are. But this ties back to that core motivation we started with. Master daily sentences, and you will master daily conversations. It's a bottom-up approach. Instead of trying to learn the entire abstract system of English grammar, all the rules and exceptions, you master the functional blocks you need to survive.
You build the house brick by brick. You know, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've gone from the groggy, I just woke up, to the reflective, I learned something new today. And what strikes me is that even though this is labeled as English learning material, it feels more like human connection material.
That is a great way to put it.
Whether it's the accountability of, I'll finish it today, the empathy of, tell me more, or the resilience of, I'll do better tomorrow. These are the mechanics of being a good person, not just a good speaker.
It raises a question I've been thinking about while we reviewed this. If fluency is just mastering simple sentences naturally, are we overcomplicating our own communication in other areas of life?
How so?
We spend so much time trying to be witty or profound or using jargon to impress people at work. We want to sound smart. But the sentences that actually run the world are the simple ones. I believe in you. Can you explain that? What's the plan?
We focus on smart talk instead of clear talk.
Exactly. Perhaps the key to deep connection isn't impressing people with our vocabulary. Maybe it's just being understood.
Clear talk over smart talk.
Oh,
I like that. I'm going to try to apply that to my own day. Maybe I'll start by using one of the phrases from the list. Tonight, I learned something new today.
and as the source says in its outro, practice today, speak today, improve today.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
See you tomorrow.
See you soon.